I'm excited for this one because it is in my home state. There's a few of them that are actually in Utah, but I love the arches. It's crazy because I've lived here majority of my life and have only been to see this arch one time, and it was stunning. It was so beautiful. And so I'm excited to paint it with you. I chose it as the backdrop or the cover page because I love it so much. So we're gonna paint it together. And because I've already painted it, we get a real live sample that I'm gonna put right here. If you want to be able to look at it, print it off, I do have reference images on the QR code. So if you go to the inside of the cover, scan this second QR code, it will send you to my website, and it has links to my supplies, which is all right here. It's what I'm using. And you're able to print this off if you choose to, so that you can look at it and just paint away. So yeah, I have my jar of water, as always, my size 12 from my round tip brush set, and 24 color paint palette. I love these paints. If you're looking for a new palette, this is your go-to. It is the most beautiful creamy colors. You're gonna love it. Let's get painting. So I'm gonna clean my brush off because I think I have some of the black from last one. I don't know if you saw, but we did this one for the last video. It's so fun, so beautiful. Have you been here, Arcadia in Maine? There's so many that is on my bucket list. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our base color. So in this, there's a lot of like a really light peach tone, and then we're gonna build on top of it. With watercolor, we go lights to darks. So we're gonna go with this light peach, and then come in with like a little bit darker of an orange, and then maybe add some yellows in, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I think what I'm gonna do first is we're going to work on this arch and finish this out, and then we're gonna come in and do this back mountain and this here. Sound good? All right, so we're gonna grab this third from the top, peach, and we probably could even just pull straight from this. I think that's a really pretty base layer. So I'm grabbing quite a bit of it. I'm just putting it here on my mixing tray. Adding some water. I'm sorry, my chair is so loud. I need to get a new one. So sorry about the occasional squeaks. I'm gonna try and be really still, but ooh, here we go. See how pretty that color is? Coming all the way up to the line. If you wanted to, you could even come all the way down into where this bush starts. And just use lots of water so we can spread it quickly. Down into here. It's not super important, like you can go into these bushes a little bit because green will overpower it, but you don't want to go all the way in there because it's always fun to have a little bit of that white showing through. So we have this, and it's almost kind of like we're making a circle. Going right over that rock, because this whole area has the same base. Honestly, this entire thing does, but we can add this same color into that back area after. Sometimes it's nice to work in sections. But we do want to move pretty quickly because I want some like wet on wet technique going on here. And obviously this is not the one perfect way. If you're like, if something else is making sense in your mind, go that direction with it. That is totally fine. This is just one way. I think this is where I'm gonna stop with this color for now. Awesome. So now that we have this, we're going to start bringing in some more color. So I have this. I'm gonna bring in some of this brick red into it. This is gonna be our next color. Anywhere you see some shadows, so I have some up here. And then I do see that like the sun is hitting this. So if you need to take some of that off, I'm gonna leave that clear. And then I'm gonna come through here. And this whole side is pretty shaded. So I'm letting that whole thing. This one is layering. That's the key. It's gonna take a while for us to get to a point where like, oh, okay, this looks done, this looks finished. You're kind of just adding layer after layer. Going right on that crisp line. And all the way down into here. Meeting up with the greenery. And then I have a line right here that kind of shows where that shadow is going to end. So you're going to fill this whole section. And you can leave some space that's lighter, but majority of it is just going to be filled with this. You can use a dry brush where when paint is no longer, it's not very wet, you can get that technique where you're just kind of using your brush and there's parts of it that will show through. I do want some yellow to show through on here, so I am gonna start a yellow puddle over here. And this is a beautiful yellow for this. So we can just add some water into it and look how pretty. Can add it into here. And there is a more vibrant yellow that you can probably see coming through in this one, that if you're like, okay, we love that, just grab a little bit more, it doesn't have to be as diluted, and you just drop it in where you see it. So here. There, we're gonna have some more back here with the purples, and then back in this one. But I think this is a great start to what we have. We need some more of this. I'm gonna blend it over here. Okay, so this is when we can start bringing in the fun, bright, more strong colors. So I have this brick red that we can grab straight from if we would like to, or we can do our purples first. So you grab a purple and add some of that brick red to it. See how pretty? And this is when we can drop it into here. But I don't want this super dark, so I'm blending this up with some water. And then along dropping that in. And I do love that it's just kind of bleeding together. I don't want any strict, stark lines. If that's your style, go for it, but I really love the looseness of this painting. So we're actually gonna bring this over, follow these lines down. But we're gonna grab some orange and add it in. You can probably just grab this third brown. It has a really strong orange tone to it, and that can make some really beautiful colors. Okay, if you want to add this purple into here, you can drop that in, kind of bring it across. Let it bleed where it wants to, and drop it down into here. And then the shadow kind of drops down. There's a line right here that kind of shows you where that shadow is going to take control. Following that down. Okay, and then the shadow follows this line up and kind of over and up. And I'm leaving the rocks light, even though they're really, like, you could come in here and do the top, but just make sure that you leave some of that separation. I think this looks really beautiful. I do want a little bit more purple in some of the areas in the front. It kind of got really muddy really quickly. And then I do want to add this orange a little bit down here. And then lifting that off just a little bit like that. Okay, and then this orange I do want to kind of bleed under here. And once that dries, we can add more where we want to, but I think that looks really beautiful. So we're gonna come in and start on this mountain range. And we're gonna use, we could honestly use any of these, but I do want it to be slightly more, slightly darker than the beginning color that we used. So I'm using that orange brown, adding some blue, and it's really diluted, but it is still darker than the other one, and we're coming up. And I'm gonna leave a tiny bit of white space to show some separation between that back mountain and the arch. Awesome, and we still have these colors. We have purple. I'm gonna add a little bit of that brick red to it, and a little bit of blue. I'm gonna come in and drop this, just like that. You can bring it down a little. And if it's still wet, something you could do is put it up vertical and just let it drop. Can you see that? Look how pretty that is. And then add in some yellow. I kind of love that this one has slightly more muddy feel. This color is also going to come up and connect here. And I'm going to also do a little bit of white space, just like that. It does have some yellow, so you can drop in some yellow. And then we have this purple too that is kind of dropping down this way into here and then over. Not that vibrant, so I'm grabbing my brush and letting it pull over. Then it's coming down here. And this is like where the sun is hitting that. It does have a little bit of an orange up here, but very bright still. And this can come up into this rock as well. See how I'm leaving some of that base color showing through? And then coming up on this side is a little shaded. Very pretty. Okay, we can do this mountain range here, and we can do it that same base. Maybe adding a little bit of purple and bring it here. If your front arch is not dry, then just wait a minute, or make sure that when you're painting, you're leaving a little bit of white just like this on this side. See how I just went over that line? I don't want it. I want to keep that structure, so I'm dabbing that off with my paper towel while it's still wet and it's fixed. Okay, so I am gonna add in some yellow, and I just mixed it right into that base color that I made, and kind of bringing it up here and letting it drop down. And then this under part. And then let's use this salmon and add some pink to make it a little bit more peachy, pink, and drop it into here. Okay, and I'm gonna let that dry because it's still very wet, so I'm gonna let it dry for a minute. We're gonna work on a different area, and then we're gonna come back because there is more that I wanna do to this section. If you want the like bleeding look, then you can add in some of the darker color while it's still wet. That's about as much as I want to do because I don't want it to bleed too far. Okay, and then let's do up here, we could add some more color. So we could add in some of this, maybe some orange. I know that we have that brown already, but I wonder if we can see how bright that orange is. If you like that, maybe adding a little bit of water, you can add some in. And if you do that, I highly recommend dropping in some orange into the arch in some random areas, just so there's consistency throughout the entire thing. Good thing we have water. We're just gonna let it drop down. Clean your brush, and we're gonna pick this up. Very pretty. So I don't know if you can see on this, I went on over top when it was dry and added some like white areas. If you like that, you can grab white crayon or a white pencil and go in and do that. I don't have one with me. Otherwise, I would show you how. But we have all of this going on. It looks so pretty. I think, honestly, it looks really beautiful. There's this area that could use some more contrast. Maybe some up here. But we're gonna add some more. Anyways. And some yellow. This is where you can grab straight from the tube and put in some of that more dense yellow if you choose to. I'm grabbing this one right here that's over by the browns. Then we have this base color again, and I'm pulling that over here because we have this rock going all the way down, same way we did before. I just brought some of that color into this little section just to add some color. Okay, this is pretty good if you want to add some shadows. You could add some blue to this orange that we have to dilute it down, and come and add some shadows right here. Add some of this yellow, just with more water over here. Very pretty. Okay, so now it's gonna come together with the blue and the green. Oh, it's gonna be chef's kiss. So we're about, I can still see that some of this is wet, so we're gonna wait on the sky because that is so important. We don't want to have the sky bleed with our arch because that is our focal point. But I do want to add some of the yellow under here in our back arch, maybe in this. Other than that, I think I'm just gonna leave it just like that. Maybe adding some color other than purple into this, but I'm gonna pull some of that darkness out and add the color in, just like this. Okay, now let's mix some greens. So I know that you can use this side. I love this, using these 5 sections. So I'm gonna grab green, just mix it in with the yellow we already had, and that's one ready for you. And because I love to add purple with my greens to dilute it down, we're gonna use this one too. See how that like automatically makes it a more neutral green? But I still want them vibrant, so I think those two are great. And what we're gonna do is come in with our greens, and we're just dabbing. Leave some white space like you see here. This painting can feel really intimidating at first, but then once you get the hang of it, it's really fun to just start adding colors randomly in the whole thing. So I'm gonna add this back one, is gonna be darker. Okay, tell me, when you're watching these, are you just listening? Are you listening to music? What are you doing? I want to feel like we're together. Right now, I am currently listening to music in my headphones because to me, I feel like music and painting just have to go together. Sometimes I'll do it without anything, but I just love the peacefulness that it brings. Okay, so I'm kind of just coming in and letting this be, our base layer be really loose, and then we can come in with some more colors, kind of blending the two together. Really fluffy. Just like this. Ooh, see how that even just alone looks so pretty. Okay, so we're gonna add this green in. Maybe add some purple to it. You can play around with the greens that you want, but I'm just adding some contrast in here. Some shadows. Okay, now I can come in with like a vibrant green and drop in some here. See how I'm just kind of being loose with it? This is a little bit of like more vibrant spot, but they all just truly just blend together. And then these little things, you can choose to have them light or dark. I have them light in here, but I kind of want to see what they look like darker. So that's what I'm gonna do this time around. So maybe watch me and then you can see which one you choose. Okay. And to get that color, I did green, this yellow, and the purple. And I'm just doing vertical, very light pressure, all the way up in. And it's okay if it blends in with it. I'm truly not worried about it. If you'd rather have a more distinct contrast between these things, then, and this I think I might even have. Okay, love that. And then now this is dry, so it's ready for us. And if you want to clean one out, you can, or you can just add to whatever the lightest color is. But if you want that like really true, beautiful blue, I would make a clean one. I think I'm just gonna pull straight from this blue. I think that's so pretty. With some water. You wanna make sure it's ready so that we can have a clean wash across. Okay, so now you're just gonna do all these sections blue. Ready, go. Oh, be careful of this. I just dabbed my wrist on it. So if you wanted to, you could start with it upside down. Being very careful not to mix these colors. Awesome. Coming down and doing this one. Awesome. One more. I'm gonna turn it back. How beautiful. Oh, I got it on the purple. There we go. Done. I think that looks stunning. I hope you love yours and that you're proud of it, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining me.